Good afternoon, class. This is Drew Stegall. Today we are going to go over how to do a personal experience speech. First, I'm going to tell you guys just about the parameters for the speech, the criteria that I am looking for. Second, I'm going to go over how to write the outline for this personal experience speech. And then finally, I'm going to actually give you an example of how I would do the speech. So first, let's go over the parameters. This is a 2 to 4 minute speech about a personal experience that you've had. For me personally, whenever I was taking this class back in high school, I did it over my motorcycle accident. A personal experience speech is an experience you've had. So it could be a good one, it could be a bad one. Some of the popular topics that I've seen have been about vacations. So today, in my example, I am going to do my Disney vacation from whenever I was 16 years old. Oh, and there's my daughter Harper in the background, so please bear with me. Now, for the speech, it is a 2 to 4 minute speech, and your PDF outline is due the day of your speech. It is going to be open as of now, just as soon as I'm done with this. It will be open the Dropbox, and you will have up until the day that it's due. So please check your calendar. It's different if you're in Textline or Channing, but your calendar is accurate. This will be an in-person speech. You will not have an opportunity to do this virtually, so you'll have to do it in front of your classmates. This is a speech class, so that is to be expected. Now, if your outline is not in the PDF format, that is an immediate 20 points off of your speech grade because it's the wrong format. The outline and the speech are part of the same grade, okay? So it's a 2 to 4 minute speech. So if you are under time, you immediately get 10 points taken off, and then you get an extra point every 10 seconds. So if you're under time, immediate 90, and then it's an extra point for every 10 seconds after that. If you're overtime, same rules apply. You only get a 90, and then it's an extra point every 10 seconds. So the way to combat being under time or overtime is practice. Practice, 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 practice. Practice at home in front of the mirror. You have times during your class schedule that I've provided where you should be writing and practicing your speech. So you are free to practice in front of your classmates. Here's what you are allowed to do. So whenever you give your speech, you're allowed to speak from a computer. You're allowed to speak from a piece of paper outline. Now, you do not give me that outline physically on a piece of paper. You're going to turn it in on the Brightspace. I do not accept outlines in paper format. Okay? But you can bring a paper outline and speak from it. That's recommended. A computer kind of gets in the way. Definitely don't use a phone because that is way too small. It's going to be you're going to be squinting the whole time. So please, printouts and speak from a printed outline or from your computer or Chromebook. Now, along with bringing a paper, you are allowed to use your phone as a timer. Now, I say timer, but do not use the timer app on your phone. Here's why, because if you set it for 3 minutes, it's gonna go off at 3 minutes. It's gonna be very distracting. It's gonna be just noisy. It's gonna stop you in your speech. You're gonna stop dead in your tracks and mess with your phone. So instead of using the timer, you should use the stopwatch setting. That way you still know what time you got. Even if you go over, even if you're under, it still shows you where you're at, but it's not going to make a noise. Now, everyone watching has to turn off their phone. That is part of your participation grade. So no talking to each other while someone's giving their speech. No noises, because that is part of the participation grade. You are in high school, so it's a little easier because there are strict cell phone rules. Right now, my daughter Harper is not going to get a full participation grade because she's talking when I'm talking. Okay, so those are some of the parameters. Let's go over attire. For your speeches, you must be dressed appropriately to give a speech. If you are wearing jeans, they can't have holes in these. Now, you guys are in high school, so you have to wear what's a part of your high school dress code. So no pajamas, make your hair, no baseball caps, but mostly because you are in high school, you could follow your school dress code and that'd be fine. Just make yourself presentable, make yourself bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, because if you are not appropriate in your attire, then your audience will not want to listen, because it's like, oh, why should we listen to someone who doesn't even care to get themselves looking appropriate? Okay, talked about time, talked about grading. For this speech, I'm mostly looking for format. Okay, and we're really gonna hit that on the outline. I'm looking for signposts. I'm looking to make sure you have every single component. I'm looking for 3 main points. I'm looking for an intro and a conclusion. I am looking for a hook, thesis, for you to resolve your hook and for you to resolve your or to restate your thesis at the end. That's really all the points I'm taking off for this first speech, along with time. In future speeches, we're going to really focus on delivery. How are you giving your speech and what can make you a better speaker? But I'm going to go really easy on this first speech, unless you are just yelling in the background. So time, format, and that's really it for this first speech. You're not going to be taking off points for anything else delivery-wise. So you could say a billion times. You could get crazy with your hands just for this first speech, and then we'll really focus on delivery in the following speeches. Now, I will put, as I'm grading your stuff, what you need to work on for your next speeches as far as delivery, but I will not take off points for bad delivery for this first speech. This is just to get you comfortable. I've not had anyone make a B on this paper for their delivery. It's mostly just your formatting. Are you doing what you've been told? Are you within the time limits? And do you have everything in your speech? So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is what I encourage you guys to do. You are going to make an outline. That's part of your quiz that you probably just did. You're going to make a simple outline. This is one I did last year. And instead of just creating a brand new outline, I know this is a good outline because I made it. I graded it 100. I'm just going to delete and fill in what I want to. So this was from a persuasive speech, but I'm going to do a personal experience speech. I love happy speeches. Now, I've noticed a trend for a lot of speech givers on their personal experience. They do the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to them. I fell into this. It's just, this is high school. People enjoy being happier. Just really like good stories. And like, we don't want to be like, oh my gosh, my heart. It's so sad. It's so dramatic. So I encourage happy, but if you got a personal experience that was not so good, you can share that too. Again, remember, we're in high school, so your conduct must be appropriate. Your language cannot be foul. Yeah, so I'm going to do a happy story. I'm going to do my trip to Kyrgyzstan. I went to Kyrgyzstan. It was a lot of fun. So my trip to Kyrgyzstan, that's my title. Look, I already have this all set up, so I don't need to change any of that. My hook will be arrested in Kyrgyzstan. See, just the little phrase that I'm using gets you interested. Like, what? You were arrested in Kyrgyzstan? I'm so excited to hear what's happening. Your thesis statement, again, you will write it out word for word. Hi, my name is Drew. Today, I will talk about my trip to Kyrgyzstan. And then 3 main points. Yep, that is a ball. 3 main points. Now, for this, it's a story. So I'm going to pick 3 parts of my adventure in Kyrgyzstan. I call these little micro stories. If you are doing a trip, it could be on the way, the actual event itself, and then on the way home. I've seen that done a lot. It could be 3 parts or 3 misadventures that's happened. Oh, is that my drink? Yeah. Okay, so first will be YWAM. That's how I got in. That's kind of my on the way there, just kind of what it's about. Second, the police. That's a big thing. And then finally, the good that happened. So in this, I'm actually not going to do chronological. I'm going to do a order of importance. So I'm kind of grouping it together based on same kind. So YWAM is how I got there. I had a lot of run-ins with the police just all throughout, but I'm keeping it together so that way it makes sense because I don't want to go back and forth between the good, the police, the good, the bad, the good. So I'm just going to talk about the police just all in one go. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the good that happened. And again, that happened, it was sprinkled throughout the trip in time, but I want to group it all together. So this is grouping by kind. So point number 2, Roman numeral 2, this is main point 1. First, YWAM, and it is exactly what I put in point A. I'm going to do what is YWAM, how I became a part of YWAM, and I think that's about it. I could do 3, but I'm just going to do 2 points because it's a short speed. It's only 2 to 4 minutes. Okay, and so because I did just 2 points there, it has to be 2 points all the way for all other main points. I'm just going to clear that out. Just like that. Okay, so what is YWAM? I became a part of YWAM. The police. Getting stopped on the street. Or I'm going to say racist because that's a little bit of a funny story, which I will show. You could write out your story word for word. Again, I don't encourage that because you're going to be reading it the whole time. So I'm just going to put something that's going to make me remember what's going on. I'm going to put stuck in Kyrgyzstan. Ooh, actually, now that I'm writing this, I've never written this speech before. This is just my writing process. I'm actually going to do stuck in Kyrgyzstan as my hook. And then here is arrested. And you'll see here in a second how that is a different story. But I am just putting little notes that make me remember exactly where I'm going. Arrested in Kyrgyzstan. Okay, finally, the good. And there was a lot of good. The homeless. I know that sounds bad, but we did a lot of missionary work helping the homeless. And then Operation Christmas Child. And then Resolve Hook will be, so I was stuck in Kyrgyzstan, it'll be getting out of Kyrgyzstan. Okay, because obviously I'm not still stuck in Kyrgyzstan, but it's a good hook. It makes like, what happened? How did he get stuck there? And then, hi, my name is Drew Stegall. Today, I talked about my trip to Kyrgyzstan. It's now the past tense. Kyrgyzstan. First, I talked about YWAM. Second, I talked about the police, racist. You see, it's exactly, I'm not changing it. I'm not saying the racist police. It's just exactly the same. It just keeps it nice and synchronized. And then finally, the good. Okay. And that's an outline right there. That's how easy it is. That's what I want it to look like. And for my next speech, I'm going to use this exact outline. You could add more points like a C and a D for inside of your main points, but there has to be 3 main points. So only 5 Roman numerals because of the intro and conclusion. And so now this is a speech I have not practiced. It's impromptu. I got it written down here. I'm going to set my stopwatch. And here we go. Now, I've noticed there's only 2 types of people. One, they get where they're always undertime or they're overtime. And I've never seen someone who's flip-flopped between undertime and overtime. It's they are undertime the whole semester or overtime the whole semester. And the only way to fix that is practice, practice, practice. But here we go, 2 to 4 minute speech. Whenever I was 17 years old, I graduated high school and I wanted to see the world. So I became a missionary and I went to the nation of Kyrgyzstan for 3 months. However, on the way back, there's a problem with our visas. And they let a couple of my friends through the gate onto the plane. And when they got to my passport, they opened it up. They said, wait a second, something's not right. You are stuck in Kyrgyzstan. Your visas are expired. So today, I'm going to talk about my trip to Kyrgyzstan. Hi, my name is Drew. Today, I'll tell you about the wonderful time I had in Kyrgyzstan. First, I'm going to talk about YWAM, which is the program that I got to be a part of that actually took me to YWAM. Second, I'm going to talk about the police. They were racist. And finally, I'm going to talk about all the great times I had in Kyrgyzstan. First, YWAM, Youth with a Mission. It is located in Colorado Springs. They take in youth students from all over the country who have just graduated high school looking for a gap year. They train them for 3 months, and then they send them to a foreign country for 3 months to tell people about Jesus. So whenever I was 17, I was looking for a place to start ministry. And I love mountains, so I looked at Colorado Springs, and there was this perfect little program. In fact, the base was actually an old hotel. It was really neat. So glad I got to join YWAM. Second, in Kyrgyzstan, the people were kind of scared of us, especially the police. They were really racist. They saw that we were white, and they knew we were American just immediately. So some of the teenagers would take pictures with us, but the police would stop us. In fact, one time I was walking through the street and the police stopped me and my friends, took us to a little police booth, and they interrogated us. They had me empty our pockets, and there was a phone charger. So, one of those external phone chargers. They thought it was a bomb. They went, bomb, bomb. They hid under the table. So, wait, no. I pressed the button, ding, and my phone started charging. They threatened to arrest us, put us in jail. I'm like, no, we can't do that. They saw a pile of cash that we had in our pockets, and they said, you know what? We'll just take your money and we'll let you go. And so we got robbed by the police. I got arrested in Kyrgyzstan. Finally, there was a lot of good in Kyrgyzstan. It wasn't all just bad. There was a lot of times where we got to actually minister. In fact, one of our ministries that we had was to serve the homeless. And there was a lot of homeless in the city that we were in. And every single Saturday, we made them fried rice, but they called it plov. And we served them fried rice and coffee every single week. We also did Operation Christmas Child, which, if you don't know, you fill a shoebox up with a lot of toys and goodies and you send it somewhere else. But I actually got to hand it out to kids over in Kyrgyzstan. So there's a lot of good. In conclusion, the guards at the airport tried to bribe us. They said, if you give us $100 a piece, we'll let you through. We said, no, we don't want to be a part of the corrupt system. So we waited it out. We went through the government. We got our visas. It took 2 weeks. So we were stuck in Kyrgyzstan for an extra 2 weeks. But we came home, and I'm back in the United States. Hi, my name is Drew Stegall, and today I talked about my trip to Kyrgyzstan. First, I talked about the program YWAM, which I was a part of. Second, about the racist police that kept stopping us. And finally, about all the good ministry I had in Kyrgyzstan. If you get a chance to do ministry, I suggest going to Kyrgyzstan. They need it. Thanks. And that was a 3-minute and 50-second speech. That is perfect timing. And that was just ad lib. I just did that on the spot just now. So it's possible, but I've had lots of practice. I know the range to 2 to 4 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes. So practice, practice, practice. And then just so I show you guys for the 100th time, you'd be surprised how many people forget to upload this as a PDF. You do File, Download, and download as PDF. Okay. Be sure to have your name, and that's it. That's your personal experience speech. If you have questions or comments, you could talk to me in person in the lectures or IME. Thank you, guys.